There are people who walk through the world with a kind of silent sensitivity, a sensitivity not born from fragility, but from depth. They feel the weight of a room before they enter it. They sense the atmosphere before a single word is spoken, and for them, crowded places are more than a collection of bodies. They're an assault on the inner world they've spent years learning to protect. Crowds are loud even when they're quiet, not because of noise, but because of energy. The subtle tension of too many minds, too many emotions, too many unspoken intentions colliding in the same space. For the sensitive ones, this is not stimulation. It is suffocation. It pulls them out of themselves, demands a constant recalibration of boundaries, and forces their attention into a dozen directions at once. These are the people who do not fear crowds. They simply do not belong to them. They have learned that their mind is not designed for endless stimulus. Their peace is not built on noise, but on spaciousness, on stillness, on the quiet truth that meaning is easier to find when the world grows softer. They prefer air that doesn't feel stolen, silence that isn't interrupted, and environments where their thoughts can stretch without brushing against the chaos of strangers. It's not about social anxiety. It's not about shyness. It's about energy, the silent psychology of self-preservation. Because in crowded places, they lose the ability to feel themselves clearly. They become mirrors, reflecting everything and everyone. And that is a dangerous place to be for someone who values authenticity more than performance. They often walk to the edges of a room, not because they are avoiding people, but because they need distance to breathe, to observe, to understand. They are the analysts, the quiet thinkers, the emotional decoders. They notice too much. The forced smiles, the restless hands, the unresolved conversations floating between strangers. And noticing everything is both a gift and a burden. There is a calmness that lives inside them. Not the calmness of apathy, but the calmness of someone who has excavated their own soul and found comfort in stillness. Crowded places disrupt that internal landscape. They demand noise where there should be space, movement where there should be flow, attention where there should be presence. People who hate crowded places are not anti-social. They are selective, intentional, deeply attuned to where their spirit thrives and where it withers. They don't chase stimulation, they chase clarity. They don't search for noise, they seek meaning. And they don't need a room full of people to feel alive. They need honesty, connection, and a kind of quiet that lets them hear the truth inside themselves. Perhaps this is why they find beauty in solitude. Not loneliness, solitude. The kind that slows the heart, sharpens the mind, and reminds them that peace is not something you look for outside. It is something you return to within. And if you, too, feel uneasy in crowded places, if your soul grows tense the moment too many eyes, voices, or energies press against your mind, then understand this. There is nothing wrong with you. You are simply someone who feels deeply, sees clearly, and refuses to let the world drown out your inner voice. Crowds belong to the restless, but solitude belongs to the awake. Crowds reveal the depth of their inner world. Those who avoid crowded places are not merely seeking comfort. They are protecting the contours of their inner landscape. Every additional presence in a room is a ripple, a vibration that touches not only the body, but the mind and soul. For most, these ripples go unnoticed, absorbed and dispersed without thought. But for those attuned to subtle energies, each ripple demands attention. Each vibration pulls at the threads of their consciousness. Crowds are loud not only in sound but in essence, a constant call to fragment oneself, to scatter attention, and to abandon the careful coherence of thought that solitude allows. By choosing distance, they preserve clarity. They watch silently, taking in patterns, gestures, and unspoken tensions that escape the distracted majority. In this quiet observation, they gain insight into others, into life, and into themselves. The crowded world becomes a mirror. The more chaotic it is, the more their inner calm stands out in contrast. They do not flee because they fear people, but because they have cultivated an understanding that the mind thrives in spaciousness, not in pressure. There is also a quiet liberation in this choice. Avoiding crowded spaces allows them to maintain the rhythm of their own thoughts, the pace of their own breathing, and the integrity of their emotional energy. It is not avoidance born of weakness, it is preservation born of wisdom. In a society that demands constant presence, they have learned to resist. And in resisting, they discover freedom, insight, and the rare beauty of a life lived on terms set by the self, not by the unceasing expectations of the world. Not everyone thrives in noise, chaos, or constant presence. Some of us find clarity in space, peace in solitude, and strength in quiet observation. Those who dislike crowded places are not distant. They are deeply attuned, protecting the sacred rhythm of their inner world. If this reflection resonated with you, subscribe and join us as we continue exploring the hidden layers of human nature, the power of introspection, and the quiet strength that comes from honoring your own boundaries. Here we honor the unseen, the unspoken, and the life lived deliberately.